Thank you all for having me here, and it's a great pleasure for the organizers and everyone. I was really inspired by your speech, Doctor, and I look forward to look to the mindfulness, and that concept looks very interesting to me. However, I would like to bring up a few concepts and talk about a few things just before we step into the main topic. Why do we usually couple management with leadership? I would like to hear from some of the audience your thoughts, why we usually put management besides leadership. What is the difference between management and leadership in a few words? Anyone can raise his hand and just only give us your idea about why do we usually put management besides leadership? What makes management different than leadership? Why we always associate those two concepts and coin them together in events?
You know, leadership and management, it's all are linked. I don't separate actually these two, because if we have a good leadership, we have a good management. And if we have bad leadership, it means we have a bad management. So therefore, you know, both of them, both concepts, they are very much linked together, and they goes side to side by each other. And I feel for good leadership, the result will be for sure a good management. Thank you very much.
Mr. Talal, thank you very much for posing that question to the audience. I come from a training and consultancy background. I'd like to compare leadership and management like this. It's like, what is the difference between training and coaching? Okay? Training, you give the people or the students the information and how to do, when to do. It's like pilot training. Okay? Pilots are trained to fly and to take care of emergencies. At that time, they do exactly what they are trained to do. Okay? They're not supposed to be creative and say, let me try to solve this problem this way or that way. They're supposed to do exactly what they're trained to do. That is training. Now, what is coaching then? Is it same? No. Coaching is where you give the person the training and the techniques. However, you also want your student to apply this learning in creative, innovative ways to even do better than the previous one. So you see there's a subtle difference between coaching and training. The same way, leadership and management. Management has all the set rules, the best practices, and what has worked, so you continue to do what has already worked, and you learn from your mistakes. Leadership is where you give your subordinates, your team, the right knowledge, or even the wisdom that you have gained from your life, so that they can even do better than what you are. So I hope that has added value. Thank you.
When we do the right thing, there's a big difference when we do something right and do the right thing. When we do something right, we're managing it well, right? When we do the right thing, then we're talking about leaders, because it doesn't make a big difference. It makes a big difference when you do something right, but you're not in the right direction, than doing the right thing. So leaders do the right things, and good managers do the things right. And as you said, the differences also can match anywhere else. So it's important for us to know that even if we do, everyone heard about the Nokia case. They did nothing wrong when they went down and lost a lot of money. They were managing things correctly, but they didn't do the right thing because they did nothing. So leadership is your component, is your recipe to success, and the future outlook, as Dr. Rashid pointed to, is something that will help you become a great leader. The topic I will be speaking about today is about the challenges that we currently face and we are witnessing from across generations. And the idea why I will bring this up onto the table is that because I belong to somewhere between two generations, the Generation X and the Millennials. I'm not a big fan of boxing generations. You cannot put a blanket stereotyping and say that this generation exhibits these attributes. However, the environment creates different characteristics. And those different characteristics involve attitudes and involve accepted standards among leaders and managers and workers. At the end of the day, good leaders will reflect positive attitude on the on the workers and the organizations, and they will take them to the next level. I will just walk you through a few things. Company demographics is what I'm going to focus on, and the challenges that come ahead. And the reason is, why I'm bringing this, I will bring us, just of course, because I belong to financials, numbers usually talk for me. And the idea is why now we started to focus more on generations, and what characteristics come along is that we have different generations. I added the Xennials because I personally belong there, where we don't really exhibit to the Gen X or Gen Ys. And the reason I'm bringing this to everyone's attention is that all leadership beforehand, all organizations build their leadership in terms of marketing, strategies, etc., on an audience that usually composed of what they call the baby boomers and the traditionalists, or the silent generation. Sometimes they call them the builders, etc. And why, for example, marketing has been focusing on the boomers is, if going just only back 5 to 10 years, that generation controlled 80% of the financial analysts, financial assets worldwide. And they actually contributed 50 to 55% of the consumer spending. That's why it's no wonder to see most of the leadership, most of the management plans focused on attracting that generation.